Y'all come on over to Nashville, Tennessee. My name is Sonya, and I'm a lifestyle blogger of LessHustleMoreCoffee.com. I share tales on hubby George, little man Roger, and adventurous little bit. It's all about new experiences and finding time to enjoy the life we have. So let's go. All right. Well, we are just wanting to talk about Roger for a little bit. This is currently what month is this? This is January, and we lost Roger around July 4th, I think. You know, we're at the point in the videos where he's no longer with us, so we wanted to do just a little tribute, and I was able to talk George into doing this with me. We just want to kind of talk about him for a little bit. You know, Katie was in school. You're out of the picture now. Katie was in school in college, and this little dog kept coming up to the girl's house. They weren't allowed to have pets, but there's this cute little dog, nasty as everything, dirt all over him, hungry, just not taken care of, didn't have any collar or any identification on him, and it got cold, and the girls felt sorry for him, so they kept feeding him, and when it got cold they brought him in even though they weren't supposed to. Remember, Katie called us and said, I got this coupon for a vet, we need to get him checked out and maybe just find him a home, just make sure he's okay.
They were going to take him to the shelter, but they were going to take him to the vet first and make sure he was healthy. So then she called and said she had a coupon for the vet, and it's like, well, that's good. She said, but the coupon is for the vet in our hometown instead of town an hour away where she was in college. She said, so I'm going to bring the dog home for the weekend and take it to the vet and we'll get it checked out. Poor dog had no front teeth, was a stray dog, and it's like, she could tell she was angling to bring the dog home, and it's like, well,
we didn't know how well he would get along with Toogie, the toy pea, our poodle.
Special needs dog. I said, I'm not going to spend a lot of money on a special needs dog, and we got cats and another dog, and we're not going to disrupt their lives with a new stray dog, but you can bring it home for the weekend and take it to the vet. So she brought it home for the weekend, spring break weekend. Yeah. So it was a 10-day weekend.
Yeah. And I remember coming home from work and pulling in the driveway and, taking our dog out, and Katie being there with her dog, and they were getting along just fine. His name was
Pumpkin at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, Katie had named him Pumpkin because it was October, and he had some orange, brown, and white in him. And she's always getting mad at me for renaming dogs. And we'll get to the renaming in a minute. But remember that weekend? It's like...
She took the dog to the vet, and the vet's report was the dog has no front teeth because it's tried to gnaw its way out of a cage, but it should not be an issue for the dog as long as he can eat, which he could.
They said he was about 5 years old at that point, they thought.
And then she brought him home and brought him in the house, and the other animals just basically ignored him, and he ignored them, so there were no issues with the other animals.
I remember how amused we were at his tail. It's like he's this shy little dog, but his tail was very bold, and that was his like, the other dogs in the neighborhood were kind of scared of him because of his tail sometimes. And I was always afraid he was going to, knock things over with it. I think he did knock a few things over. But, he would raise that tail, and it was swift and powerful. I remember that.
And then he was just a little quiet thing, and he was shy and a little scared. You could tell he had been, I don't know, maybe hit with a broom or kicked when he tried to come in the house, because he was sort of shied away from the door. And then, of course, he bonded with me, and then it was over.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we were all just kind of like taken with them, and I mean, by the end of the weekend, we knew, no, this dog's not going anywhere. He's going to stay right here. Yeah. I remember us sitting around watching TV, and you could just see him as time passed. He began to be more comfortable with us. And I remember looking over at him when he had his tongue, when he would relax, his tongue would hang out.
Because he had no teeth to keep it in.
And he would sleep with his eyes open. It's almost like he had been afraid, so he would sleep with his eyes open and his tongue hanging out. And it's like we knew this is the most special dog. But one of the things is that I gave George a book for Christmas called Roger and Friends. Put it together through, I think it was Shutterfly, how you can make those books. He always did such a good job, with all of the other animals that he was around. Macy was also a rescue dog, and we lost her last December. When he came on, we actually had some cats. And he did really well with the cats. He did really well on trips. We took him to Tybee, Savannah, Texas. He got to go to Mom's a lot, and he handled himself really well with Mom's dog.
He also went to assisted living to visit my mother a lot, as Tootie did too, and he was very popular there.
Yes. And he went to friends' houses. We even had some friends that said, hey, you know what? You guys can spend the night, because they loved our dogs. But here is George and his mom with Roger. I think I got it held up there. There we go.
There's what he did to me all the time.
Yeah, he loved to sit in George's lap when he drove. But it was always a treat when he went to the nursing home or assisted living where Granny was. All the folks there would love it when we'd bring the dogs in.
He was a fearless dog too. He's a small dog, about the size of a dachshund, but he would go up to any size dog and he would just stare at him. He wouldn't move.
Well, he would do his tail.
No, he'd first just stare at them, and they would stare back at him, and then he would start wagging his tail, and then they never bothered him, and he was never scared.
Here is the picture that I took with his tongue and his eyes.
Don't get it too close.
Can you see it there? Oh my gosh.
I miss, he used to, once he got comfortable being home, he would lay down on his back and just wiggle, scratch his back on the floor. It was the happiest looking dog.
It might be.
No, he's
That's kind of asleep there.
But he was very happy. It warmed my heart when he wiggled.
Yeah, I was just really amazed with how he took up with you. It's like Macy and Toogie Toogie was both of our dogs. She was close to both of us. Toogie was really especially close to me for a period of time. Macy came in and she became alpha dog over everybody. And Toogie was getting a lot older at that point. And Macy started trying to take me over, as wanting to be the alpha dog with me. Toogie at that point was really kind of just laying around on the floor. She didn't even want to be a lap dog. And so Macy really became my best friend, and Roger became George's best friend. And I don't know, I just remember the heartwarming feeling, because George had women. He had me and Katie, and all the cats were women except for a little bit. And Roger came in, and it's like he called him little man, because he was his little man. They were buddies. And we can't forget to talk about the name thing,
Not a great dog name. Not a name he responded to. You could sit there and call him Pumpkin all day. He,
so
oblivious to it. So one night we were sitting around and Katie was home. We said, we don't know what this dog's name really was. And we'd had a previous experience with a lost dog that we had for a while. We read the want ads and we'd been calling out names to that dog. And then we see this ad that described the dog we had, the lost dog, and its name was Rhett. Rhett has been missing for 2 or 3 weeks. So we just said, Rhett! And that dog's little ears perked up.
And we knew that was Rhett.
It was. So
and we got him back to his family.
we tried a similar tactic to name Roger. We just sat there one night and said all of the different
Dog names. We started with dog names.
and people names we could think of, and just we'd call out names. We did it for about a good half hour, 45 minutes.
We actually even started calling him Bible names for fun. Methuselah. I mean, we were just having fun.
And then somebody said, Roger, his little head turned
Yeah.
and he looked up. So whatever his name was before, it was similar to Roger.
It could have been Roger or Dodger. And I often wonder if it wasn't Dodger because, you would be watching games on TV and it gets loud, in the crowd and the announcement, when something happens. And Roger would leave the room. It's like he did not like the sound of that. And so I think whoever had him had a sports background. And when he recognized that, he would just leave. I noticed him leave.
Roger loved sports.
He
He'd
left.
sit on the couch and watch
He would
sports.
leave when it would get really loud. He would just nonchalantly leave the room. And it made me kind of wonder if whoever had him before was a sports person and they named him Dodger. But we thought it was a lot more fun to call him Roger because
Everybody that heard the name Roger almost immediately went Roger Dodger, whether
Yeah.
they'd ever heard it or
Yeah.
not. 'Cause
it's just endearing to name a dog a person name because we treat them like people anyway.
of course, with all of our pets, walking around the house, they're like children. So it's like, I haven't seen the dog in a while. Let's
Yeah.
go look for the dog. So I'd go and find them sleeping wherever they were. But Roger would do that with me. If I went to the bathroom and Roger missed me, every once in a while I'd just see the door would open and Roger would stick his head in.
He would follow him
He just
everywhere.
look where I was, and okay, I know where Daddy is, and he'd leave. So
Yeah, Macy did that for me, and it was just really cute that we each had our own dog that just, and coming home to that, it's like they love you unconditionally. It didn't matter how bad your day was. It didn't matter if we were mad at one another or not. It's like they loved you no matter what.
and you could kind of tell that Roger had been kept in a cage. Of course, his teeth being gnawed down, which sort of made sense. And if he saw a cage, he became very uncomfortable. So I promised him he'd never have to go in a cage, and we never boarded him. He did have to go in
Yeah.
a cage occasionally at the groomers,
Yeah.
but he was with other dogs. And the last groomer we had for him just let him wander around because he
Yes.
wasn't any trouble.
Yeah, but he was getting hard to groom, and the last year we actually did it ourselves, and we did a video on that. You can go back and look at that. That was hilarious how we
weren't
did
good
that.
at it.
We were not good.
He also had some pretty good separation anxiety. And when we had the other dogs, of course, that's one of the reasons we had so many, so that they wouldn't be lonely during the day. And after Maisie passed away and he was all by himself and I'd go to work, when I come home I could hear him barking from the mailbox. He was unhappy being alone, so then he would be happy to see me again, and kind of got a little bit better about it, but at first it was pretty heart-rending to
Yeah.
leave him every day because it hurt him so.
We've actually, had a lot going on. We always have a lot going on, but it was just like the year was on steroids this year, and I can't imagine in some of those situations having him and what we would have done. But we miss our pets terribly. We still have a little bit, and we've had neighbors that have helped us with little bit, and we
Who
appreciate
has
that.
become an honorary dog.
And he calls him Good Dog all the time. And he is 13. He acts more like he's 10, but he gets to come in the house more, and it warms my heart when he climbs up in my lap. But he has really sharp claws. You have to have on thick clothes. But What's your thought on a new dog or dogs?
If I could have 100 new dogs today, I would go get them right now.
That's kind of scary. So, are you waiting on me or the timing, or are you kind of wanting them to find us, or do you want to go find them, or what?
Well, pets have always found me, although you could go to the shelter and have one find you. It's we've had pets a long time, 18, 19 years, so it's responsibility to have them. It's been kind of nice to be able to stop somewhere on the way home from work or go somewhere without having to find a hotel that will take pets and all that. So, but every day I'm missing a puppy walking around my house.
Yeah.
So at some point we're likely to get one. Then again, we're old, so we can't get a brand new puppy with lots of energy that's going to outlast us. So we'll just see how it goes. When the time is right,
Yeah.
the pet will find us, and we'll take good care of that one too.
So, I was thinking in my head that we'd get a couple of trips where we could fly. We've had one.
They didn't have dogs on the airplanes, though.
Yeah. Did they have to be a support dog? I mean, I don't even know.
I don't know. I think they just had to be small enough to fit into the dog carrier.
So, I mean, it's not that we couldn't afford one. I'm sure there's really nice,
It's like boarding your children.
But it's just hard to do. It's just hard for us to do anyway. So, that might be something that happens to us in 2022.
So if you got a spare dog and
we're open.
Need to go to assisted living, don't know what to do with your dog, give us a call.
Yeah, we're open. I really don't want like old dogs that require a lot of care where we're going to lose them really soon. I just don't think my heart can take that right now. I'd kind of like to have, we had Roger for a while. We didn't have Macy for very long, but we had Roger for a longer period of time.
We had
But
Maisie for a little while.
yeah, that was just, oh my gosh, that was just really hard.
Don't care. I'll take whatever dog picks me.
So, well, if we get 2 dogs, then we can get a medium.
If you get 2,
Age dog.
Might as well have 4 or 5.
So, no, that's a bit much right there. All right, well, this concludes what we wanted to do today. I'll be putting a lot of pictures in there, but do you have anything else you want to add?
No.
I think I kind of went over everything that I wanted to say. He was just a special dog, and he can never be replaced. That's just one of the amazing things about dogs, is that they're little personalities. They are, each one of them, just so different and so sweet and unique, and so they'll have special places in our hearts forever. They just don't ever go. One of the pictures that I'll put in here is a picture of Roger and Macy and Toogie that Katie had made for us at Christmas and gave it to us as a Christmas present. It's hanging on my wall back there in the office, but it's so cute. It was such a thoughtful gift. So we're open to more dogs, and we will never forget those dogs we've had in our past. Yep. Anything else?
See my belly button.
Okay. Oh no! All right. Always got to have the humor. Check y'all later. No, I think we're good.
Is there a full moon today?
Bye.